From the Skyterra Wellness Retreat, this is the Inspired Intentions Podcast, where we help people build the skills and mindset to live a healthy life. Hey everyone, before we dive into today's episode, if you've been enjoying our podcast, take a moment to rate and review. It may seem like a small thing, but our ratings and reviews make a huge difference in the quality of our show. They help us reach more listeners like you so we can continue bringing you more amazing content. So, if you've found inspiration, learned something new, or just love tuning in every week, please rate the Inspired Intentions Podcast 5 stars and leave us a review and even share with a friend. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Now let's get into the show.
Hello, Inspired Intentions listeners. Something that you should know about us here at Skyterra is we are givers. We love to give gifts, especially this holiday time of year, and it can be very difficult to give a gift through a podcast format. So we decided to do something a little bit different. We actually have some gifts for you today, and we did everything that we could do to give that to you within a podcast. And what we have for you is a bunch of gifts from our team. And who better to help us share that with you than Alan Bryhill.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Alan.
Hey.
So a couple of months ago, we were trying to, we were looking ahead at the calendar for our podcast, trying to figure out what we could give our listeners around the holiday time. And we came up with this idea of finding the best habits from different people on our team and giving them to our listeners. So for the past couple of months, behind the scenes listeners, we've had a document going here at Skyterra. We have been asking people to put the habits in that document that they know work really well for them. And we're going to share those with you today.
Yeah, this is a team of wellness professionals in their own rights, and this is the stuff that they do every day.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty valuable, and hopefully it can inspire some of you going into this new year, and happy almost New Year's Eve to everyone.
Yes.
And here's how we're going to do this. We have each person, each team member that contributed. We're going to tell you who it is and what they do here at Skyterra. And then we're going to tell you their habits. Rachel and I just kind of went through and picked the ones that we liked the best between all of them. So Rachel will read off her favorite from this person. I'll read off my favorite. And then some of them have, 2 or 3 here. So there's a lot here we're going to go through, and we're just going to give them all to you wrapped up in a bow.
Yeah, a little audio bow.
Yeah, there we go. Sound good, Rachel?
Sounds great.
You want to? You're going to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So this first person is Bobby. He's our SEO specialist, and Bobby is one of our few remote employees here at Skyterra. Bobby works on our marketing team. And what I started noticing in meetings with him over Google Meet, that his shoulders were kind of going side to side while he was talking. And it almost looked like he was swaying in his seat. And come to find out, Bobby bought a bike desk. So this is a small, compact bike that fits underneath his desk.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of sitting in a chair, he is slowly pedaling in meetings.
Just wobbling.
Yeah.
Just very lightly back and forth. Little head bob, little shoulder bob.
Yes. And it's been a couple of months. And my favorite thing about this practice is when we were working on our new website, every Friday, we had a working meeting that was usually 1 to 2 hours long, where we were working hard creatively in terms of coming up with language for the website or how the website interface was going to flow. And when Bobby was thinking his hardest, when he was brainstorming, that's when he was pedaling the fastest. And I just think it's really neat. There are several of these. I found a few on Amazon. They're not that expensive. They don't take up that much space. And he just gives it very, very high marks. He feels like it's been a game changer for him. Yeah,
he does love that thing. I think it's great. We did a podcast about the walking pads a while back with Ryan, and I think it's like similar thing. Some people have bikes in their homes. Some people have treadmills. You can do that same thing under your desk. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes, I do too. So thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, get a little movement in.
Yeah.
Our next one we have up is from Marissa, our culinary director, who always has a lot going on. They do 300 meals a day, 365 days a year, pretty much, and it's always good to have some solid habits. And I think this first one, the one that I like the best, resonates with me a lot, and shouldn't surprise anybody being a culinary director. It's about cooking. Marissa said, when I'm trying to center myself, I like to cook. I enjoy the process of creating something and being able to share it with others, which I'm sure she shares with her partner and other folks around all the time. I think that's a great one. There's no better way to bring people together and also to get your mind out of the other things and stressors around you, like cooking. So I think that is a great habit, and you get a nutritious meal out of it.
Yeah.
Something you know you're going to enjoy.
And then Marissa also said, I enjoy sitting in my garden or photographing. Both force me to be still enough to look at life with a closer eye. And I love that. Usually, maybe a few times a month, very early in the morning, I'll get a text from Marissa with a photo from Skyterra's campus for social media or maybe even for our website. And it's always a moment in time, a moment in Marissa's day where she took a minute just to look around and witness beauty that was happening. And I can see her making sure that she has time to do that, forcing herself kind of be still and look at life with that closer eye. She is a very, very skilled photographer. And so I love that even, I'm sure her day at the beginning is very, very busy, as all of ours are, but she's coming into Skyterra. As you said, she's got meals to work on and a staff to coordinate and making sure that guests are happy. And she still finds a minute to capture that photo and share it with someone that she feels close to.
It's pretty cool. Rachel, you want to give us the next one?
Yeah, so our next one is Teresa, our general manager.
Yep.
And she gave us 3. So the first one, and I know this is very, very important to her, she has to get her morning walk in. She says, I walk every morning 1 to 3 miles. I am in a lot of meetings with Teresa, as I know you are too, Alan. And I can always tell when she has not had her morning walk. It doesn't happen very often. We all know how important it is to her. But it seems like it is so important to her, so much a part of that morning routine that she really needs it. And you can see that in terms of clarity and being able to think in a strategic way that she has to do. It's important.
Yeah, and walking in general, it's a great habit to have. We all need to have that active movement in. But she likes to combine it with meetings sometimes. I see her out there talking with the folks, and her sister as well. I think that's an important time for them to just get together for a little bit.
Connect.
First thing during the day. Yeah, it's pretty neat. My favorite one out of Teresa's 3 is a cardiovascular one. So Teresa says that every morning I spend a minimum of 500 meters on my rower, at least 5 minutes on my bike, and then a quick stretch routine before I jump in the shower. Usually takes 15 minutes. The reason this one's my favorite is because of the rower. That is my favorite.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I love the rower. I think it's full body. It's got a lot of strength aspects to it. It's cool to see the numbers tick up. There's something about watching it get closer and closer to 500 meters or 1,000 meters that I like, and I love to row boats too, so it kind of equates there. So that's pretty neat. It's cool that she has that 15-minute kind of habit first thing during the day to get a little bit of movement in.
I really appreciate her recognition of how little time that takes. 15 minutes, and sometimes when you have that in your mind, you're like, this won't take me very long, but it's really important that I get it done. That perspective can be helpful.
And you might not be as fast of a rower as her. Let's put that out there, because that's smoking fast for 500 and the bike and everything. But it doesn't matter. Just take a few minutes and find a way to get your heart rate up.
Yeah. The one that resonated with me from Teresa, she said, I look at my indoor plants and then walk around my yard to say hi to any blooming flowers before I get in my car. And the thought of Teresa doing that, just again with all of the many things that she has to do at Skyterra as general manager, just taking time to look at her plants and then say hi to blooming flowers, it's just so precious. Teresa actually passed on to me her love of plants, and I have a few plants in my apartment. And a couple of weeks ago, Teresa and I had to have a difficult conversation, and she sent me a photo of the flower that she had said hi to that morning, and I sent her back some plant babies that were poking their heads through my soil. So that one to me is really special. I love that.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I read a study related to plants the other day that it said our plants know us, even our house plants know us. And there's this whole deal that they measured it in kilometers, but like your plants know when you're close to them. Like when you're driving home and your aura gets close to them, that like something about them changes. They had some way of measuring that. I thought that was cool. So I'm sure Teresa's plants
I'm sure they love her so much.
that.
Yes.
Next up, we have another 3 for you. And these 3 are coming from Ryan, our fitness director, who you guys have heard from in the past. And it's no surprise if you've listened to Ryan's past podcast that these are incredibly specific habits. Even has time involved. You'll see what I'm saying here in a second. I think these are really cool. So my favorite of Ryan's 3 is his cold plunge. But here's what Ryan wrote. I do a morning cold plunge at 6:20 for 3 to 4 minutes at 40 degrees. Very specific.
So specific.
At 6:20, he gave a time. So if you're ever curious and you wake up at 6 o'clock and you see 6:20 roll around, you're like, I wonder what Ryan's doing right now. You'll know.
Now you know.
Now you know. I love the cold plunge. We've done a couple of topics on it, podcasts on it rather. Here, there's a lot of accessibility there. Even if you don't have a cold plunge, you can cold shower, whatever, and there are a lot of added benefits to that. So I think that that's a very solid habit.
I know you know this, Alan, but we have a very specific set of interview questions that we use when we're interviewing new team members here at Skyterra. Just depending on what the role is, just trying to pull out everybody's what we call geniuses and frustrations.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that we ask is, can you please tell us about your morning routine? And I was in Ryan's interview when he talked about his morning routine, and we were all like, wow, this is incredible. So here's another part of Ryan's morning routine. He says, I try to keep the same morning routine every day. I wake up at 5:45 and drink 16 ounces of water with half a teaspoon of mineral sea salt. I do a gratitude/visualization meditation for 20 minutes to center myself for the day and raise my vibrational state. And I definitely identify with Ryan when it comes to kind of keeping that same morning routine, knowing what you're going to do, not having to guess, not having to make it up as you wake up. There's a comfort in that routine. And so I really applaud him for the specificity with which he's committed to that.
I like the sea salt deal.
Yeah.
I think I've been doing that. It's super solid. Celtic sea salt, a little bit in some water right before bed.
Really?
Yeah. It's good stuff.
That was a teaser for Alan's habits. We have his at the end.
That's not one of mine.
Okay.
You want to hit the next one? Yeah.
We have Claire, who's our program director. And she put a bunch in here. One of the things that she said, I like concoctions. I'm a little witchy. She said her family teases her about that. One of those, what she calls concoctions, is a mixture of aloe vera, water, and lemon, which she said helps with natural detoxification, skin health, and hydration.
Mm-hmm.
And then more things along that witchy moniker that her family's given her. She says she uses what she calls reflection cards. She said she pulls the card and just sees it as an opportunity to see why that card might resonate for her. And then she also, after work, after work, I say hello to my kitty, Stella. snuggle her for a moment, and then go on an afternoon nature walk.
Yeah, those are all super good. My favorite of her list here, she definitely provided us with the most, was every morning on the way to work, I either listen to a meditation recording or set intentions for the day ahead. This one resonated with me because I like to set my intentions for what I have for the day ahead that morning as well. I'm more of a list guy, so I like to plan that kind of stuff out pretty specifically. But I think that's for my routines, that's super, super important. So I think that's one that a lot of people could take home.
For sure.
And then the last one that Claire had listed here is I have been practicing being more intuitive with my body. So after I walk, I tune in to see how I feel and will either do a workout like yoga practice or have some intentional time to rest. And I'm assuming that's just all dependent on how she feels or what she feels. I think we could all take a note away from that one about being more intentional and listening to our body a little more often.
And not feeling, like Teresa says, no should-haves. Nothing that you feel like you should have done. Just, I love Claire's words about just listening to how her body feels and what she feels like she needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next Skyterra employee up is Kinsey, our reservations director. You've heard from Kinsey, I think, a couple times now. And Kinsey gave us 2 of them. And I'm going to tell you the one that I'm the most impressed with, I'll say, because it is one that I absolutely hate.
It's hard.
It's hard. That's gratitude journaling, or just journaling in general for me. But specifically, Kinsey's habit is gratitude journaling. And I'm impressed, Kinsey, that is a consistent habit for you that you find powerful, because I can't do it. Maybe I'm jealous.
I am also jealous. I will say Kenzie spent some time with me in Boston this past year and brought her gratitude journal with her and included in there some of the things that we had done together. And I felt so grateful to be in her gratitude journal. But it is something that she's committed to. She has beautiful handwriting. She has really been making this important part of her life. And I agree with you. I'm very impressed by it. The other thing that Kenzie put in here, this is similar to the one that I'm going to talk about, is she is on a yoga/mindfulness streak. And one of the things that we've talked about with streak habits before is just finding something that is accessible to you. So something that you know that you can commit to every day. And for her, it was finding time to do yoga, mindfulness. She doesn't say how long she does it, but I would imagine, again, it's not about how long. It's just about making sure that it happens.
Yeah, she's had quite the streak going, too.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Rachel.
Yeah.
And I'll go last.
Oh, okay. Yes, definitely. All right. So my habits, I had a different one in here. I deleted it. I swapped it out. I really tried to be thoughtful about something that I could give to our listeners that I know has worked and something maybe that I haven't talked about before, but I was not successful with my first one. So my run streak, still going. I hit 5 years, November 11th. I continue it. Again, for me, it just works. It's something that I'm committed to. It's minimum of 1 mile run every day. Doesn't matter how fast. Obviously a little bit more difficult in the winter to get it done, but I'm still doing it. So that's the first thing.
And I congratulate you for
Thanks,
keeping
Alan.
that going. I don't know if you feel committed to it because of the podcast.
A little bit.
Because we keep talking about it on here, but you're going strong. I'm proud of you for it.
Thank you so much. I am listed on the International Run Streak website. And for the first 5 years, if you're in a run streak, you are considered a newbie. And I just moved from the newbie category to proficient.
Ooh. Wasn't there somebody that had been doing it for like 30-something years or something?
There are people who've been, I think 48 years is the longest streak that's going on right now. So I really do applaud those people. It's amazing. Who knows how long I'll keep it up, but for right now, it's still going. The second thing is something that my husband and I have committed to, which makes it a little bit easier when you have an accountability buddy. But that is walking at the end of the day. Again, it's a little bit more difficult in the winter. It's more difficult when it's cold. But what we committed to each other was we couldn't both not want to do it at the same time. And what that looks like is if, for example, my husband comes home from work and he's really tired, and if he says, I don't want to go, it's my responsibility to say, we're going to do it. You'll feel so much better. Let's just do it short, or whatever I need to say to get us out the door. Just because that time for us has turned into really the time that we connect and are able to talk about the day. Because what we found was without that walking time, you're working all day and then end of the day, we're tired. So easy to kind of, do the thing that we do that helps us decompress from the day, which, reading or watching TV or whatever it is. So committing to the walk and then committing to each other that we're both not going to want to not go at the same time.
That's awesome.
And then the new thing this year especially is I got a Kindle.
Mm.
And, 2 years ago, I told myself I want to read more. I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I'm able to do other things while I'm listening to those books. But I really wanted to force myself to sit down and read. And I found 2 years ago, my mom and my dad love to read and have given me a lot of books that I have in my closet. And the pile kept getting higher, and it started to feel almost like things that I had to cross off my list. So I got a Kindle about 6 months ago, and it feels a lot easier to just pick that up and have a bunch of books loaded on there. And it has been the thing that has made me slow down and actually read instead of feeling like I need to keep moving while I'm listening.
That's awesome.
Thank
Little
you.
piece of technology to help out a habit.
Yeah. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's great.
What about you, Alan?
All right. My habits. So something that's very meaningful to me is to prioritize making healthy meals or fulfilling meals, even not necessarily just healthy. So cooking. But I'll go into a little more depth for everyone because you can just say cooking, but it's a little bit more to figure out how to make that more of a habit. So I try and prioritize if I'm at home, we try to cook. So usually I'm getting up early, cooking breakfast. Very rarely am I getting something that I didn't cook at home for breakfast. Very rarely. Dinner pretty much every single night. And then often leftovers are coming towards lunch the next day. We do go out. There are a ton of great restaurants around where we live. They make some amazing food. We love supporting those businesses, but it's pretty rare that we go out during the week. That's usually a weekend thing. Maybe if we have like a really busy night, we will get food, right? Or a friend wants to take us out or something. So I think that that's really important. One way I make that accessible, because often to people that doesn't sound accessible, is to try and make a grocery trip every week to get all the things that inspire me for meals. I very rarely am taking multiple grocery trips a week, but like I might take, I forgot the cilantro for this taco dish I want to make. I will go back and get that. But it's usually one big trip. I kind of lay it out. It also makes sure that I don't waste things. Things don't go bad in my fridge because I'm seeing everything that I have at once based off of knowing what I have in my fridge. And that helps to inspire me a little bit. I'm always looking for new recipes. If it's not one that I've made up myself, I'm always doing searches to find something that does inspire me, which gears whatever I do at the grocery store. I think that that's pretty important to me. I also use some of the Skyterra home recipes, especially for when I'm cooking for like my nephew. And I think it's a really, really powerful piece for me. I spend quite a bit of time doing it. I'll be honest. It's not an easy habit to keep up, but it makes a difference, I feel, in my nutrition and what I put in my body. And if you ever need some inspiration, there's apps out there that can help folks with this. We had one that we used specifically for a while, but there's a million of them on the App Store that basically like you type in what you have in your fridge and it spits out recipes that you can make with that stuff, which is pretty cool.
That's really neat.
So that's one big habit. The other one is a little more simplistic. It should become of no surprise to people that know me, but it's just to prioritize outside time and walks. We have a fun little route that we do from our neighborhood. There's 3 options once you get to this fork in the road, depending on how long we have. We pick one of the 3, and it's just getting some steps in, but it's mostly about being outside and sunlight. And that's like if we basically have no time. If we have more time, it's more about also getting our awesome dog out for a walk, letting her run around, or maybe going fishing after work, or just really prioritizing. This is more afternoon movement, I guess, would be the main habit. Those are the things we do, but yeah, afternoon movement. This is after work. Before I start cooking dinner that particular night, as much as possible throughout the week. And we do this even if it's cold and dark outside. Preventative of that idea of cabin fever. Cabin fever. It's, it's a real thing. And as the days get shorter, especially this time of year, we're close to some of the shortest days in the year here. And it's important to get that sunlight in your eyes.
Thanks, Alan.
Absolutely.
Well, listeners, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you had a wonderful 2024. Hope you're going into 2025 with maybe a couple of new ideas on anything that you want to change or add or even take away from your life.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
That's it. If you guys have any questions, send us an email at inspiredintentions@skyterrawellness.com. We'll get to those questions as soon as we can. And we hope to see you soon.
We'll see you next year.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
Bye, listeners.
Bye.
Thank you. The Inspired Intentions podcast is a production of Skyterra Wellness Retreat. Special thanks to our executive producer, Alan Broyhill. Send us your questions and comments to inspiredintentions@skyterrawellness.com. Subscribe on iTunes and everywhere podcasts can be found. If someone you know might benefit from this podcast, share Inspired Intentions with them and give us a 5-star rating. Join us next week as we cut through the unrealistic noise on diets and fitness and show you how healthy living fits seamlessly into your already busy life. Thanks for listening.